Slipstream was made available for PC for some time now. And when I say some time now, I mean like 4 years or so. It finally made its debut on consoles last April for PS4 and 5 Xbox consoles and the Switch. So I believe that there's no excuse for you guys not to try it out. I've been lately bombarded with similar arcade racers with these retro-inspired visuals that not only appeals to old-school gamers, but also to those more casual players out there that might be curious about its gameplay and aesthetics. And Slipstream is yet another example of that, but now as close as it can get to one of the greatest creations of Yu Suzuki. I'm talking about Outrun, of course. If you've at least played the latest entries in the Outrun franchise, you'll be at home in Slipstream. But even so, I'm certain there will be a whole generation who instantly say that Horizon Chase Turbo was its inspiration. It was brought by my Brazilian brother Sandro de Paula, and the basic concept is racing down a public road, dodging traffic and trying not to crash. After each themed sectional environment, there's a fork, and driving down one side takes us to a new area, just like in the good old Outrun. Around 15 minutes later, you'll have reached the end and completed the game. That's it! But where Slipstream differentiates itself is through the driving physics. Using the D-pad or analog stick, you tap left or right, but smoothly drifting around a turn is far from simple. Well, for most people not used to it, it might be a tad difficult. For the ones like myself, used to that mechanic in games like Outrun 2 or Outrun 2006 Coast to Coast, it's a piece of cake. Even so, I can confirm that there is more depth in the handling that you may anticipate for a game of this kind. By default, power sliding is a manual affair, releasing the throttle pedal, tapping the brake, turning and then back on the gas, all the while avoiding slower moving vehicles and finding the ideal line, just like in those Outrun games mentioned. Slipstream takes its name from the game's slipstreaming drafting system, a speed boost that's more or less essential for success. Across the game's 6 modes, but especially its headline Grand Tour mode, this gradually charging power-up adds a whole new dimension of skill and difficulty. And of all the retro-inspired racers that arrived in the last few years, Slipstream is by far the easiest to adapt to in terms of its controls. The other gameplay affecting dynamic that's very much from the modern era is the rewind mechanic. If I'm not mistaken, it appeared first, in what the racing genre is concerned, back in 2005 in Squadra Corse Alfa Romeo with its Tiger effect. Do you remember that one coming from Milestone? It was also known as Alfa Romeo Racing Italiano. So in Slipstream, we tap the appropriate button before being treated to tracking lines and that rewind insignia resembling an old VHS tape. Each section of the main Grand Tour mode features several rivals. Finish behind them at the end of a stage too many times and your race is over. They feel largely redundant and their performance can be all over the place, but ultimately provide something to aim for other than simply the clock. And besides the Grand Tour, Slipstream offers an impressive amount of content for its meager €9 price tag, with a few other game modes like split-screen multiplayer mode, and its performance more than meets the demands of modern gaming, while staying true to its retro influences. The soundtrack is also excellent, thanks to Stefan Moser, but a notch inferior than the one present in Art of Rally. But I guess that's not a fair comparison. Sandro de Paula is also clearly a huge fan of classic Sonic the Hedgehog titles, with certain stages taking their names and occasional design influences from zones including Emerald Hill, Chemical Plant, Ice Cap and Marble Garden, plus Sonic 2's red, yellow and blue introduction screens. Sandro's love for Outrun is clearly legendary because he not only managed to replicate its winning formula, but he's done it without damaging the legacy of the Outrun franchise itself or making his Kickstarter-funded game a basic and simple clone. Slipstream was clearly made with that huge passion for what he grew up with, and it's visible right from the moment we boot the game up. Give it a spin, you won't be disappointed. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you all in my next video. Cheers!